Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the podcast. And we have an exciting episode today because we get a chance to talk with some of our colleagues in India. And joining us today is Shruti Shrivastava. Shruti, it's so wonderful to talk to you. Before we get into what the podcast is about this episode, please introduce yourself to everybody listening and watching and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Absolutely. As you know, I am Shruti Shrivastava and I'm based in Bangalore in India. And I'm the director of research and insights team that partners very closely with technology workflow. I also act as a site lead for the entire research community based in India. I have over 20 years of experience doing research and analytics, and I am 2 years old in ServiceNow and enjoying my process here.
I think our birthdays are both coming up because it's almost about 2 years here for me. And that's not the only exciting thing, but I've already listened to this interview before, so I know how insightful it is. But tell us a little bit about who you interviewed and what made this interview special for you.
This interview is going to be super special for all the researchers out there. We spoke a lot about, how AI is helping us during our research process. What are the new things that we are trying at ServiceNow? And Averria Martin, who is the Senior Director and the Chief of Staff for UX Research and Insights team, also highlights various other initiatives that we have taken up from the research side. This podcast is going to be extremely helpful for all the researchers out there, whether they are from ServiceNow or outside of ServiceNow.
That's going to be amazing. So without further ado, we have Shruti Shrivastava and Averria Martin.
Hi, I am Shruti Shrivastava and I lead UX RI team here based out of India. I have with me Averria Martin, who is Senior Director, UX Research and Insights, and she is also a Chief of Staff. Hi, Averria. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I would love to know, Averria, on a weekend, what do you do? What's your routine and what are your passions?
Oh, wow. We're getting right into it. Well, first of all, thank you so much for hosting me and also for your willingness to facilitate this conversation. I'm really excited to be here, so thank you. What do I like to do on the weekend? They're typically pretty fast-paced. So a lot of fitness-oriented things. I'm a competitive bodybuilder outside of work. So I definitely lift a couple times. Love driving up the coast. I live in San Diego. And having fish tacos with my husband. Or I guess just trying to rejuvenate and recharge so we can come back into the week fully ready to go.
Amazing. You may have seen a lot of ups and downs in your career. Do you want to talk about it? What do you want to give as an advice to the younger generation?
Oh, wow. What do I want to give as an advice to the younger generation? It's interesting. I was just having a conversation with one of our UX researchers, and we were talking about just how we're in this space right now that we're living kind of past the pace of human scale. And we're just moving so quickly. And they were asking me about staying on one team or going to another. One is moving very, very fast. One is maybe a little bit more stable, working on some of our more mature products. And I was talking about how I have a really high tolerance for thrash, for ambiguity, for kind of these nebulous situations. But I don't think that has always been the case. I think that over time and with experience, I have almost become more accustomed to that, and it doesn't really shape the way that I feel. And so my guidance to them was to kind of just get comfortable with that ambiguity and to really focus on the things that are most important, which is often not work. Right? It's our home, it's our loved ones, it's all of those things. And then it almost makes the thrash that can sometimes happen in work more tolerable.
Oh, absolutely, Averria. I mean, it's such a fast-paced environment everywhere.
So exciting.
Exactly. And the rate at which ServiceNow is sprinting, it's really thrilling, but it can be exhausting. And, it can take away time. It is a lot more demanding these days. How do you maintain your work-life balance? And what do you mean by work-life balance?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really about compartmentalization. When I'm working, I'm working. and like really, really focus on whatever the highest priorities are throughout that day, throughout that week. I'm also, when I go into the work week, every Monday I schedule 2 hours in the beginning of my day, and I actually do a full audit of all of the things I want to accomplish. I put stars next to the things that are truly just non-negotiable, and that I know if I'm able to close on those items during the work week, that I'm going to feel like I'm a success. Because there's a lot of things that may transfer over to the next week, and that's okay. But like the things that are most impactful are the ones that I want to focus on. And then, when it's time to be done, I'm done. And I really, I really cherish my off time, and I try to make the best use of it, whether it's going to the gym or spending time with family, is like really doing that thing. I also love holidays. So I do make sure to take vacation every year and like really take time off. Like my laptop stays at home. I'm on a plane, I'm going somewhere, and work is just the last thing from my mind. And then you come back and you're so ready to just take on whatever is in front of you.
Oh, absolutely. I can't talk more about that. I totally 100% agree that when you come back from vacation, there's another level of energy inside you and it's just oozing out, and you can do a lot more work and get things done much
Totally.
faster.
Yeah, and this is an exciting place to come back to, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I've been on holidays some summers, and I come back and I'm like, it's a different company. So much has happened.
Yeah. And those are good things, right?
It's awesome.
Sometimes you do feel that you missed out on certain things, but even catching up is thrilling.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a little technical question on research, given that, both of us are from the same domain. I have been hearing a lot of folks who want to move to research from other domains. We have been getting a lot of job-related query from our PMs within ServiceNow, design team within ServiceNow, and they want to see, what should they do to be a part of our team? What would be your advice to them?
Oh, I love that. And I love internal mobility. Like we've definitely seen folks in design come to research, folks in research go to design. We've also seen a lot of researchers go into product management, which I think is very, very cool. And like, I love that we're bringing that curiosity to product management. I would say first and foremost, we're all about the users, and it's a super user-centric organization. And so I think everybody is well versed in that way. I would say depending on what level of training that they've had, I think our design partners, they do a lot of research in school and as part of their job. And so that might be an easier transition. Maybe our product management counterparts who, people who do research, or powders as we often call them, maybe they're doing a much lighter, less rigorous form of research. And so I would say kind of start with the basics, start educating yourself about what UX and product research actually looks like. What are the different methodologies that we would use across the product development lifecycle? I would start shadowing our researchers if you could, maybe join them in some of their data analysis and synthesis and how we actually leverage insights from seeing all of our users. And then, continue the conversation, like reach out to one of our managers in our organization and see if we could potentially make that happen.
Yes, absolutely. And these are the people who are willing to, stretch, learn, and then grow. I think that's the best part of it. I think that's at everywhere, in every team at ServiceNow.
Yeah.
And probably that's why we are where we are.
I think so too. It's definitely a company that values a growth mindset. And so, I think also the fact that we're really supporting people in that internal mobility, I think is pretty awesome. And I definitely celebrate people that take chances and, can kind of reinvent themselves over and over and over.
Absolutely. So this was a question that I got from somebody, quite a lot of folks within ServiceNow. I get a lot of questions from outside of ServiceNow who wants to be a part of this great company. Now, one question that is pretty common is, it's a huge company.
It is.
And do you really think that there can be a genuine sense of belongingness, that kind of the fitment where I can emotionally connect with each other. So these are the questions that come from outside of
Yeah.
ServiceNow, especially from people who have not really been working at such a huge organization.
Sure.
What would be your advice to them?
I mean, it's interesting. I've been at ServiceNow for about 6.5 years now. And when I started, I think we were about a 6,500 person company, and now we're a 26,000 person company. And, one of the things that brought me here and has kept me here is the culture. Like, ultimately, when I look around, I'm surrounded by people with a growth mindset. I'm surrounded by people who are just so incredibly helpful, and like at every level, from people who are early in their career to people who are GMs and senior vice presidents. Like, everybody's willing to really roll up their sleeves and get involved. And I absolutely love that. I also think there's a level of kindness and clarity at ServiceNow that I haven't seen other places. Like, I've actually had people say that people are suspiciously kind here because they're like, really? Everybody's this nice? Yeah, everybody is. And that doesn't mean we're not direct and we're not going to say the things that need to be said. But like, there's a general respect for each other that I just really, really appreciate. I also have had the opportunity to be at many of our offices. So I've been in San Diego, Santa Clara, Montreal, Amsterdam, Bangalore, Hyderabad. I think that's it. And what's always stood out to me is that the same culture can be seen in each one of our offices too. Like, everywhere that I go, I feel like I'm embraced by my colleagues. I feel like I belong, and I watch the way that people interact, and it like literally warms my heart. So, I mean, I think it's real. And I am just so appreciative that we've been able to maintain this at scale as we've grown like a rocket ship.
Oh, so when I joined ServiceNow, about 1.5 years back, I remember asking the similar kind of question to the same person more than twice. I never felt anything wrong with that, and the person made me feel. Everybody makes me feel so good that it's okay to get confused. We are huge. And that gave me a lot of confidence that I don't have to be embarrassed to ask questions. I just
Absolutely.
love that culture. And you rightly said that's probably what's going to keep a lot of folks within ServiceNow, because it's not very easy to find that culture everywhere.
You're right. You're right. I think it's a very special environment
Yeah.
that we've curated here. And I think it is just really the glue that keeps people here and wanting to contribute at the level that we do every day.
Yes. Now, there can be no conversation that can be complete without taking this word of artificial intelligence.
All right, let's hear it.
And ServiceNow is at the forefront of it. We are making a lot of changes. We are making a lot of impact. We are anticipating a lot of change and impact in the industry and, globally everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, how do you use AI in your personal and professional work?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's such a full question. And I feel like if I answer it today, the answer is going to be different than it was a month ago and even like 2 months from now, because we're moving that quickly. And it's incredible. And I know what just a really cool time to be like working and alive. I mean, in my own personal life, like it's interesting. I was probably a late adopter of AI technologies. I remember using ChatGPT, I don't know, 18 months ago or so, and getting these very hallucinated responses that I'm like, this is garbage. And so it really always reminds me, even as we're creating our own AI technologies, like the importance of trust, right? Like, they lost my trust immediately, and I didn't go back for about 6 months. But 6 months in AI time is years, right? Before. And the improvement in their LLMs had improved so much that all of a sudden I started seeing value and how it could generate and reason for me, with me, and collaborate with me. And so I think slowly over time, ChatGPT specifically kind of started becoming a thought partner, which actually, let's call it the gateway technology, allowed me to really start thinking about like, okay, how are we going to introduce some of these other technologies in the work that we do, like both personally and professionally and across the team, since I oversee the operations for a 155-person organization. And so a couple things that are coming up for us. So of course, if you're at ServiceNow or any company, you want to know what is allowed to be used within your company. For us, one of those technologies is Writer. And so as we're rolling out our new storytelling curriculum, we're going to suggest that everybody in our organization get a license to Writer to help us distill our insights even more clear for our product partners. And so using it as a thought partner is we're curating insights that can be easily digestible to our product partners. In addition, for our research repository, actually this week, as you'll hear in the bulletin that's about to come out, Copilot was turned on by our digital technology team. And what it's going to allow us to do is comb through our entire research repository and quickly leverage insights from across different mediums, whether it's structured or unstructured data. So we can generate that quickly for our researchers. They can understand who's done that research before, what's been done in that space, and then how to connect the dots there. In addition, we have a new research platform called Great Question. And it has AI technologies that are in a beta phase. We're working with our legal and compliance team to ensure that we're rightfully bringing them to our team. And it will help our researchers with data analysis synthesis. And so it will have generative capabilities that will allow it to go through all of the different videos from the research that they've done, the interviews they've done with customers, and then look for insights across. So they just in the same way you would ask any generative technology a question, you can ask it of the system and it will pull out any data that answers that question as well as timestamps to any of the videos, and then will allow you to turn those into video clips so you can have a highlight reel in less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
So imagine, right, a lot of these manual things that we've done over the years and like combing through the videos and going through transcripts and pulling out our tagging and our data synth will be able to happen in minutes. It will also have a human in the loop component so we can say, are these good results or are these bad results? And continue to train the model to make sure that it is reliable, responsible, and trustworthy.
Oh, that's great to know, Avra. And especially as and when the organizations grows, bigger and bigger, typically what we see is there is duplication of work in various teams.
Yes.
I'm sure this Copilot is going to help us reduce that duplication and use the work of what others are doing and get encouraged to, just incorporate the learning that's already existing and then add on to it rather than recreate everything all by yourself.
Absolutely. So just last year, we moved over our SharePoint. So we had actually 3 SharePoints. And across them, we had 4 terabytes of information.
Wow.
Imagine how long it would take one person to go clicking in and out of file folders, looking for who knows what, across 4 terabytes of information. And it's something that can happen in moments with these types of technologies. So
Yeah, absolutely. Love the idea of Copilot. Love the collaboration that it can get. Now let's move a little into the human element, and I would love to understand your style of collaborating with people within your team or even outside your team.
Okay. My style of collaborating. So when you say my style of collaborating, like how I like to work with others?
Yeah, how do you initiate and, what is the thought that goes behind? Everybody is human, right? Sometimes we are nervous, sometimes we are confident, and sometimes we don't know what we are or where we are. So what is the mindset? What's the approach that you take?
I mean, I think with my team, so I lead research operations and strategy. So I have a business operations team, a research operations team. Nested in that, we have our customer engagement team. And I think that the way that I collaborate with my team specifically is really through empowerment. Like I have done an excellent job of hiring a bunch of people that are far smarter than I am. And so I trust them implicitly. And so I really see that team as like thought partners to me. They are the people that are truly going to move this business along. And so, we collaborate very, very closely. But I trust them, I delegate to them, and I, with them, try to operate as the person that's going to help unblock them in any way possible. With my peers. So, as the chief of staff for UX Research and Insights, all of our research leaders are my peers. So for those, I'm really thinking about how can I empower them both with their stakeholders and with their teams to deliver great experiences. So a lot of unblocking, a lot more almost like coaching in that team of like, okay, have we thought about this? What about that? How can I help you here? And I work with them a lot on infrastructure and how we strengthen our infrastructure over time. And then when managing up, so we also work a lot with VPs, GMs, and then cross-functional partners, customer success, product success, sales, AEs, is always thinking about what is their language and what do they value? What are the things that are keeping them up at night? And how can I act as an unblocker to them? Like, how can I make sure that they're meeting their goals through the collaboration and the work that we do?
Oh, this is just awesome. And I'm sure that kind of support and that kind of empowerment really is going to help your team. Even for them, it's so important to grow things strategically, and this is definitely going to help them.
And they're all amazing. Shout out to my research operations team.
Yeah, so let me come to my last question.
Okay.
This is again something that I have been hearing a lot, especially from the outside world and the ICs here at ServiceNow, is a few of them are interested in taking up leadership roles, but they have they always have this thought, that is it going to add more responsibility? How am I going to manage my current work and the additional responsibility that comes in? What if I don't like it? Do I have the liberty to go back? So there are a lot of these kind of questions. What would you tell them that, according to you, what are the pros and what are the benefits, especially that you have seen when you transition from IC to a manager, and how have things changed now?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. There's like multiple parts. Let's start with the first, which is if you're thinking about going into leadership, you should be asking yourself all those questions. You absolutely should. You should not just jump into leadership without having some introspection and some reflection about why am I doing this?
Yeah.
At the heart of leadership, you have to want to grow people. And if you're doing it because you think it's a promotion or you think it just has to be the next step in your career, don't do it. You have to want to grow people because it is both the most tremendously amazing thing, but also it's really hard. Leadership is hard, and sometimes it can be really, really lonely. I think for first-time managers, so asking yourself the questions and then talking to a lot of different managers, understand their experience. Like, what do they like? What don't they like? What are they doing by the hour, the day, the week, the year? And then talking to our leadership and seeing like what are the opportunities. Like at ServiceNow, we have Aspire to Lead, which is a short program you can go through if you're thinking about leadership, but also like understanding like, am I going to just be a manager or am I going to be a working manager? And for UX research specifically, does that mean I'm going to actually have to continue to carry on some actual research projects myself? So I think getting really clear on what that's going to look like for you is really important. I think the other thing that I always tell people is you don't really realize how many administrative tasks that you're going to have when you are in people management specifically, because you are going to have a lot of paperwork, ACRs, MCRs, all of those kind of things. QGCs. And so it's not just getting to meet with people and move them along in their careers. Like there's a lot of kind of like back end stuff. That's not my favorite stuff. But all of the goodness that comes with leadership makes up for it. And then I think, making sure that you have like a really good mentor that you can turn to in the beginning, because you will question yourself a lot. Like, is this the right move? Is this what I should be doing? Is this the right approach, et cetera, et cetera. So making sure that you are like quickly kind of building a support system to help you through that first year to 3 years of leadership where you're really learning and growing. For me, I mean, I've been a leader for a long time. I think it's been almost 20 years now. So it's hard to even remember what it was like. I think for me, it was one of those things that it was the next natural step. And so I think I just kind of slipped into leadership. But I also really found myself here. Like, I would never take another job in my life if I didn't have the ability to lead and grow people, because that is my true like life's purpose. And like what really like gets me up in the morning is seeing our team be successful and succeed, whether that's here or as they move along in their career. So I think I answered most of that question.
Yes, you did.
It was like a 3-parter.
No, you did. And, it's exciting to see that leadership is not just about thinking of it as the next level or next promotion. It's more about the capability to think and do things right for your people, let them grow, enable them better. So that's an amazing thought process, Averria.
And that is absolutely true. And one more thing I just wanted to touch on is, there's people managers and there's leaders. And like everybody on our team has the ability to lead. And like I really want people to really take that and step into that greatness, right?
Yeah.
Dare to lead, be bold, whether you're a people manager or not.
So there you have it, a little bit of information into the world of research and AI here at ServiceNow. Shruti, it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much, Bobby. It was a pleasure being here, and I really hope you and everybody else learned from this podcast. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me or even Averria. We will be happy to assist you.
And we've got all that information in the show notes. And of course, if you have any questions, head over to servicenow.com. I'm your host, Bobby Brill. Thanks for listening.